Hello guys, my name is BobLyn and I am your two-time European champion. No, I don't want to boast, but I guess for this video, it does help that I have some credibility with what I'm talking about. So like I said, I have done this twice, gotten rank 1, and all of you know that it's over for me now. So I want to make a video where I share my thoughts and my strategies on how I got rank 1. And there are quite a few things you need to keep in mind that, even make it possible. There's some certain factors that need to play in before you can even consider it. And I'm going to talk about that here first. So yeah, let's hop into it and see what I have to say. So my first tip, which is probably one of the most important ones, and it's the factor I'm speaking of, is you gotta be early on. You have to get Legend League within the first 24 hours at least to maintain this lead. Let's take a look at the leaderboards for the current season, and you can see God of War from Aria. He is 10k ahead of the number 2, and that is, I think I had a 20k lead because my season was very stale. I think I was lucky. There was a team skirmish going on in the beginning of the season, which I think gave me some, leeway here. But yeah, that is tip number 1. You have to be an early bird because that is so important. If you get the Legend League first, you can get a very quick, lead. So for anyone wondering, what does it look like when you get rank 1? Well, it looks like anything else. You get of course, Legend League rewards, but after that you get the prompt that you got the first place rating. And this is what it looks like. I thought I would include this, and I'm taking a screenshot here because, well, it's screenshot worthy in my opinion. But anyways, let's move on. Okay, so here's the game I was talking about. It's an Austin gameplay, high damage, but that's not the main point of this video. It's about grinding the leaderboards, and I want to say something. I'm gonna talk from the perspective of the top 10 and top rank 1, because you can just tune down how much you play if you just want to get top 100, because remember, the camos are exactly the same stats wise, and the titles go away after a month. So it's not really worth it from an rewards perspective. You don't get anything special except the camo, which is great for grinding. But let me get into tip number 2, and that is get first wins on every single high tier ship you have. So for rank 1, it's going to be very important that you have a few tier 10s, and if you don't, then a lot of tier 8 premiums and tier 9s that you can play, because the tier 10s give the most trophies. So that's why I played there, and I believe you should do that. So here I'm going to elaborate a little bit on what you can expect and how many games I played to reach the amount of trophies I did. So in the first 14 days of the season, like I said, racked up 140,000 damage, which is not damage, sorry, trophies. So that's 10k trophies per day. And to reach 10k trophies per day, you need to play at least 50 battles or get at least 50 wins. You can also get losses where you still gain trophies. So the way I see it, you just have to get at least 50 games where you get 210 trophies or around 220 trophies. You're also going to lose some trophies in games. You're going to have losses because, remember, I played this mostly solo, so that makes it a little bit harder. I also played a lot with teammates, but it's not every time you can get a teammate because I played pretty much 24 hours a day. There were some days where I did not get a lot of wins, so therefore it took longer. I might have played 80 games, 100 games, but my average was around 50 to 60 games in a day in my tier 10s. Once I had completed every single first win, so that means before the noon server reset and before the midnight server reset. So that means a lot of wins, you can see. But that's kind of the determination you gotta have, because remember, if you want to crank out 10k trophies a day, you need to just play all the time. And that's kind of the problem with the leaderboard, in my opinion, is it favors the ones who have the most free time. And I certainly did, because I was just sitting at home with a broken leg, right? So in that regard, it's kind of BS. But at the same time, the trophy rewarding system is really nice in the way it's very honest. So to conclude this tip here, tip number 2 is get first wins. And something to take away from this, I played around 50 battles per day, aimed for 200 trophies at least per win, and that gains you around 10k trophies, actually closer to 11k trophies in a day. So I have 49 tier 10s, guys, and I know not everybody has that many tier 10s, but that's why I'm saying you can also do tier 9 and tier 8, because they also give a great amount of trophies. The only thing is tier 8 is just really tough right now. It's really rough with Atlantico, Sansang. Yeah, you know how it is, so I just tried to stay away from tier 8 a little bit. I didn't really play it that much. But yeah, if you don't have 49 tier 10s, don't worry, just wait for the next tip and I'll tell you what you can do. Alright guys, for tip number 3, I'm gonna tell you to play ranked, because first of all it's 5v5 and there's no bots. You rarely see CVs, but they're not as impactful when you ever get one in the game. I played a lot of ranked because around the nighttime or evening time, that's when all the Smolensk, Colombo, Malta divisions come out here in EU, and I trust me, they hunt me down, and I get why they do that. It's, I've been told before it's because I'm a threat, and I take that as a compliment, so thank you guys. But in a situation like that, I would just hop over to ranked, because there's trophies and first wins to get there, and trust me, like, ranked is a cesspool of noobs, especially in the lower ranks, like silver, bronze, even gold and diamond. I've seen people are just not the smartest, and they're trying to grind their tech trees, avoiding OP tier 10s. So play some rank, guys. It's great fun, and I really loved using it as a grinding tool here in my grind to rank 1. So yeah, that's my tip number 3. Play ranked 5v5 tier 9. It's great fun. Alright, so for something a little different, this is one of the nice things about grinding so many games, is you gain a lot of resources and free XP, silver and all that good stuff. So I want to talk about how much silver and free XP I made, and also my stats. So when I started this grind back in the beginning of February, I had just under 400,000 free XP. I ended up on the 28th of February with 748,000, so approximately a profit of 350,000 free XP. Now, of course, I've used some boosters, but mostly it was gray boosters. It was pretty much just nothing I had boosting, so that's really nice. I made around 60 million silver. Now, I also spent a lot of silver while I was doing this, changing out modules and equipment, but around 60 million silver. Now comes the fun part. My win rate went up a whole 1.3%. Now, I have around 13 to 14k battles, so that is quite good. I'm very happy with it. If you guys know me, I have a goal of reaching 70% win rate by playing, how I do, mostly solo, sometimes with friends. It's 50-50 now. I've gained a lot of friends while making this YouTube channel, and that's so awesome. But, playing my tier 10s, not doing any BS CV divisions. So there's some encouragement there if you were, thinking about that. It's a little thing that people don't really, realize, that you actually make a ton of resources by doing this. So that's really nice. Now, again, I'm gonna speak about this. This video is from the surface player, surface ship player's perspective. This is not from a CV player's perspective, and this is probably gonna be titled "How to Grind Rank 1 Without Playing CV," something like that, because it's definitely possible, but it's way harder, because you don't get bot games and you don't get trophies every game because you don't spot everything. Like I talked about in my league's grinding guide, the CV player can spot and get so many spotting ribbons, assists, and stuff like that that boosts his team score, which makes him, probably not lose trophies in a lost game. That's why the cruiser player, BB or DD player, has a harder time in this, especially the DDs and cruisers, because we can't really sit back and farm. We have to expose ourselves. So this guide is for those of you who want to do it in your favorite class and role. Now, I'm not talking shit on CVs, they're in the game, you know my opinion on them though. I have just something to say. All the CV mains who were trying to catch me, I mean, good luck, guys. Getting bot games over and over again is not going to improve your score on how you play. You don't learn anything from bot games, so I also advise you against it. You learn so much from grinding this, and I advise you against getting bots. You can just get a tier 9 CV friend and get bot games. It's not fun, it's not cool, and it's definitely not respect worthy from anybody in the community if you grind bots for the rank 1. But that's my opinion, remember that. You guys can think differently, but look at that, we get 290 trophies. That's the maximum you can get in this game, and that's pretty good. That was a great game as well. So This is the second game. We're playing the Atelier Regolo, and we got a Kraken in this one, so pretty nice. And yeah, of course, we're sporting our best player title. That is the end goal, I guess, getting the best player title. And for tip number 4 here, I am gonna advise you to take breaks and mix it up. Don't get stuck playing the same tier all the time. One thing I was quite happy I remembered to do was if I got too, if I got too tilted, because when you play so much, you become invested in it. Trust me, at least I did. And when you get bad teammates over and over again, you get faced against, the next CV Sweat division after the other, Columbos, all that kind of jazz. Now for me, battleships were the big thing, camping battleships, because I'm a cruiser player, right? But for you, it might be something different. Take a break, an hour or something, get fresh air, do something completely different, come back. If it's still the same, play another tier. Play low tier, play with your friends, do some goofy stuff. I've done a lot of goofy divisions with Mr. Mime and Calista Carl here in this Tomania as well, Nicholas and PS. They were, great games. We had so much fun, so remember to have fun. This is a game, guys. It's not life or death, and I might seem like a very serious person about this game, but believe it or not, I actually still see this as a hobby and a game, not life or death. But yeah, remember that, take breaks, mix it up, don't get stuck doing the same thing, because if you keep losing trophies, then what's the point of playing, right? So if you see yourself bleeding trophies, that I would usually take a break. I would usually just, do something else for half an hour, 1 hour, come back, see if it's different. So yeah, that's my tip number 4, and it's very important, because you are a human being and you need to remember to breathe, eat, maybe exercise. Now that wasn't really easy for me, but yeah, exercise is important. I'm not gonna sit here and be your father, because most of you are probably older than me, but anyways, exercise makes the brain work better. That's just fact. And esports players exercise because they need to have a functioning brain. So yeah, let's move on to tip number 5. So tip number 5 is about matchmaking here. So I was talking about these, division squads. In tier 10 you see a lot of squads, Vermonts, Columbos, CVs, all that kind of thing, because it is very powerful, especially if they have comms. And if you run into those and you get matched up against them, maybe look at, are you in a team yourself? Because if you are, the matchmaking is going to provide a team on each team, so it's not unfair. There's a squad on each team. You want to avoid that if you keep losing to this squad. I know it sounds kind of mean, but it's just the reality of it. You want to play solo at that point. At least I did. I jumped out of a team, played solo, because then you get maybe a little bit more favorable matchmaking, and you maybe don't come against the best players out there, because the reality of it is you are a target when you are rank 1. Now I'm also a YouTuber, so that doubles it up, I think. But especially I've done this before, and back then I wasn't a YouTuber. It's very likely that people know that you're going for rank 1, and they're gonna sink you. You're also gonna meet number 2 and number 3 quite often, and they're gonna try to sink you. So in a situation like that, remember you could just leave and play solo, find another tier. It goes back to the last tip. If you keep losing and losing, change it up. And playing with friends and fleet mates is very important. But playing solo and observing the matchmaking is also great. You need to be aware of, when it's time to leave and when it's time to stay. Sometimes tier 10 can be a beautiful thing. You get a lot of tier 9 matchmaking. You get a lot of new players. I have even seen Amagi's like 5 games in a row on the enemy team in a tier 10 game. That's blessings. You stay in tier 10. Yeah, here I'm a little frustrated by the auto aim here, so I turn it off. But yeah, that's tip number 5. So my final tip, which is tip number 6, is you should really be in a fleet. Now I've seen a bunch of people who are not in a fleet grind the leaderboards, and that's definitely possible, but most of the time I was winning the most games when I was playing with my fleet mates. And thank you, Corsairs, you were an amazing help, like absolutely. Now with that being said, I have a ton of other amazing teammates that I could play with, and to all of you who helped me through this grind, there were so many of you. I mean, if I had to name all of them, it would take a long time. So all you who helped me, you know your name, you know who you are. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, and all the help I got, I really valued it. But like I said in my last tip, I just sometimes had to leave if we got, you know, bad matchmaking. But that's tip number 6. Have friends. Play a lot with friends, because you will have 2 teammates at least, like I said in my last video about this. 2 teammates who at least know what they're doing, right? It's very important. And a bonus thing is, if you have comms with people, if you can communicate in Discord on voice chat, it is very, very powerful. My friend Klistakal and I were friends in real life. He's also Danish. We played a lot, and we talk on Discord most of the time. Same with Mr. Mime. It's very powerful because you can call out things, and having comms and using callouts is a very, very important thing if you want to win, especially in tier 10. I know a lot of fleets play together with comms, so you want to have your advantage as well. So, to summarize all these tips, guys, get an early start. You want to get an early lead. You don't need 10k trophies per day, but get an early lead, at least 10k trophy lead, because then you can, you know, manage, and you can spot if somebody's gaining on you. That's the very important thing. You can easily see if somebody's gaining, and then you can ramp it up. Play with friends, take breaks, be observant of the matchmaking. Those are very important things, and then get your first wins. So another thing is, what helped me at least, is be confident, man. Tell yourself you are the best, and you are gonna take over these people. So if you're not grinding rank 1 to top 10, see each ladder increase as a goal, because once you get in the top 100, it's not that, you know, hard to actually get close to top 10. Klistakal was on vacation for a week. He came home, he was like off the leaderboard. He was top 10 before that, and he managed to get to, I think it was 13th place. Yeah, so that, you know, it's easy to do. The leaderboards themselves are not, you know, that hard once you get in there, but it's getting there that's important, and that's why early starts are important. Tell yourself you're the best, because you are. That's very important. You got to be confident, you got to be aggressive, you got to be, you know, willing to take risks in games to win the game. You got to be able to carry some games. Very important stuff. Now, guys, remember, like I said, this whole guide is basically, you know, from the perspective of if you want to grind rank 1. But if you just want to get the leaderboard and get the camera rewards and the title just once, or maybe know how to do it, just ramp down the games. You don't have to play that much. Getting to the top 100 is basically, I think, maybe 2k trophies a day. Once you get on the leaderboard, you don't have to play that much. It's not that bad. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed. I really enjoyed making it, since it's a long time coming, and all these experiences I've gained playing has really given me a good perspective on how to do it, and I think I could easily do it again. Now, keep in mind, there are also some very important factors that play in. And now, for those of you who stuck around to the end of the video, guys, thank you so much for watching such a long and elaborate video with me rambling. I have a bonus tip. It is about the month. So I did it in February, and there was a team skirmish in the beginning, which gave me a lot of, you know, head start. Not that many players, not the good players at least. Second thing is, if you do it in a month where there's exams, so like June, for example, or, you know, some of the later spring months, you also have a very good chance. December is hard because people are at home playing, but in the end of December, it's kind of nice because there's holidays, but you gotta sacrifice your holidays, right? That's so, keeping that in mind, there's a lot of months that are better than others. So that's my final tip, and I hope you like this video. My name has been BobLyn, signing out.